ECOWAS is demanding an immediate release of a timetable from the military regime in Burkina Faso towards the return of the country to constitutional rule. Burkina Faso will remain suspended from all ECOWAS activities with further sanctions in the offing if demands are not met. This is contained in the communique reached by member states after an extraordinary summit called by the regional bloc to find solution to the security concerns in the SAB region. President of ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Cassibrou, who read the statement, also announced the deployment of a stabilization standby force to help the government of Guinea-Bissau to deal with insurgents. Well, joining me now is Elton Brobe. He's our presidential correspondent. He's also been monitoring affairs for us today. So ECOWAS has also provided new directives for Mali and Guinea. What are the details of this directive?
So we can start from Burkina Faso. And member states took note of the deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in that country. And they are calling for a quick return to constitutional order to deal effectively with these matters. The authority also reiterated its absolute condemnation of the coup d'etat on the 24th of January and expressed concern over the continuous detention of the president, Christian Kabore. In this regard, and subject to sanctions, the authority is demanding unconditional release of the deposed president of Burkina Faso. On the issue of the way forward, they want the military regime to uphold the suspension of Burkina Faso. They are also calling on the military authorities to establish a transitional institution, adopt a transitional calendar, and facilitate the return to constitutional order as soon as possible. They are also instructing the Commission to ensure continuous engagement with the new authorities through the establishment of a monitoring mechanism, including the African Union and the United Nations. On Guinea, the authorities take note of the recent establishment of the National Transition Council as a legislative body. However, the authority expresses concern over the unavailability of the required transition calendar 5 months after the coup d'etat, as requested by the extraordinary session of ECOWAS Authority Heads of State and Government held on the 16th of September last year. And because of this in mind, they are asking the transitional authority to provide to ECOWAS an acceptable timetable for the restoration of constitutional order, and also reaffirms its readiness to accompany Guinea towards the speedy return to constitutional order. In Mali, they describe as unacceptable the 5-year period within which the country can be returned to constitutional order. They say that this is not acceptable, and they are asking the military regime in Mali to amend the 5-year period within which they can hold elections and bring it forward. Other than that, they will continue to be under sanction. The communique says that if Mali is able to meet all the demands that have been put forward, ECOWAS will take steps to review the sanctions imposed on them. Now, the last issues had to do with Guinea-Bissau. Remember that there was an attempted coup d'etat last week, which did not materialize. Now, ECOWAS, according to the communique, is sending a group they call Stabilization Force, and they have to help the Guinea-Bissau military to deal with the issues at hand. Now, they are dealing with 2 matters, according to ECOWAS. One is the economic situation in the country, which may be fueling the military takeover. And also, Guinea-Bissau, according to ECOWAS, has been identified as a major route where narcotics shift to other parts of the world. And because of that, Guinea-Bissau has attained the nickname as Narcos of Africa. They are sending this stabilization force to help the Guinea-Bissau government and military deal with people who will be using it as a transit point for the export of narcotics to other parts of the world. So these are the issues that they came with regarding the 4 West African countries that are experiencing this instability. There was a question about whether or not ECOWAS has done enough to stop coup d'etat, and whether or not they are also mindful of the economic situation that may have influenced the military to step in. And ECOWAS says that no coup d'etat in any form is better than an elected government, and they will book my principle.
Elton Brobe is our presidential correspondent. Let's have some expert analysis on this. Joining us now is Richard Kumado, a security analyst who joins us via Zoom. So ECOWAS has given clear indications that West Africa is grappling with increasing threats to our security. As, of course, a security consultant, how is this news reaching you?
Definitely. It's a right decision in the right step. Just to say that it's a little bit late, and the element of surprise has been what ECOWAS is struggling to deal with. With the standing order so far, what they need is to ensure that they're security compliant, and the leaders of these coup d'etats must work in a way that meets those standards. Otherwise, they will need to engage a little bit more, using all the forces at their disposal. A little bit more persuasion will work magic for ECOWAS. Otherwise, they have a tough work at hand.
Looking at the last coup d'etat, which is happening up north, Burkina Faso, that country shares borders with Ghana. There are fears of a possible spillover. What measures should we be taking aside the military deployment that we heard of some days ago?
No, definitely you want to take your border security control management seriously. Secondly, you want to engage the communities, predominantly those who live along the border towns. Then number three, government will need to make resources available to the security agencies to ensure security intelligence is gathered on a timely basis. Then number four, which is so important, security governance and political governance must find a meaningful balance that puts all of them on the same level. And that is the core of many of these issues we are witnessing within the West Africa region, which is more predominantly called with coup d'etat.
What are the likely spillover effects into Ghana? Are they imminent?
Definitely, these are people who cross over, and cross-border crime could be high, and the threat level for Ghana could also be high. If the threat in this particular case is drugs and terrorism and coup d'etat, we will need to look and watch who is crossing and what are they crossing with. Until we are able to do that, then we will need to be a little bit alert and ensure that we're there with the excesses that come with sharing borders with people who are experiencing high levels of insecurity.
So paint the picture for us. All of these things are happening within the West Africa sub-region. Some seem a bit far away, but what's the likely impact on Ghana's security?
It's not just the physical security, but remember you share a common border with many of these countries, and you also depend on them for basic items like tomatoes and onions and all that. Now, when it comes to sanctioning in itself, it has never really been able to resolve any political issues properly based on history. You realize that we place a sanction and Guinea opens its border to some of these countries. It means that the revenue that might be generated from Tema Harbor will be diverted to Guinea, and that alone in itself could create some insecurity hunger issues for Ghana. What Ghana must do is to take the geopolitical security issues very seriously and ensure that political leadership is listening to the security men on the ground. And once you can find that balance, I believe we'll be a little bit up there to avoid the element of surprise, which everybody wants to run away from.
Richard, thank you. The National Union of Ghana Students has expressed concerns about the growing trend of insecurity within the sub-region. According to NUCS, the situation demands that government take proactive and effective measures to nip emerging threats in the bud. The leader spoke to Joy News on the sidelines of a security conference held at the University of Ghana. Samuel Mbura's report.
There have been at least 4 coups in the last 18 months in the sub-region. The National Union of Ghana Students, NUCS, believes this strengthens the security of the country and puts students at risk. General Secretary of NUCS, Julius Anthony, is calling on government to move to address the issue.
Unemployment issues can lead people into this robbery issues and all that. I think, what do you call it, the rising of these groups, terrorist groups and all that. And they work with indoctrination. They introduce you to concepts and ideas that you would have to imbibe and follow. And sometimes they start with giving you opportunity That's how they start with this sort of things. And students must be very well aware. National security has picked intelligence on a lot of these things. In KNUST, a lady was deceived, oh, we'll give you a job in the Middle East and all those things. And eventually they were, completely brainwashed.
He's also urging students to take their security seriously and beware of rogue elements.
The most vulnerable people are people who are in poverty, who are in need for jobs, and all those things. That is how come someone can easily deceive you. If people don't need those things, then they are less vulnerable to security threats. Radicalism is usually fueled by anger and people's disappointments towards regimes and all that. So our message to government is simple. They would have to pay key attention to these things to solve these threats to security. And to students, I think that they wouldn't need to make themselves available to these threats that are